Welcome back to the TruJuLo YouTube channel. I'm Fanchon Cox, and we have a beautiful, amazing guest today, which is Nicole Kurtz. Say hi. Nikki is an industrial designer, a graphic designer, a model, an actor, so many things. But you went to school for industrial design. So I want to start there and just have you talk about how you got interested in kind of that creative arts, but also with the industrial. So it's kind of functional as well, right? So anyway, how did the seeds get planted for you to even start in this career?
Yeah, so I've been an artist like since childhood. I've always loved being creative. And when I started looking at colleges, I knew that I wanted to do something creative, but also something functional at the same time. My dad has a background in engineering, civil engineering. So that kind of I always saw him drafting, and I loved the way he was like able to implement kind of functionality into like working on systems, and it just like really brought me into that world. So at first I thought I wanted to be an architect. So I was really only looking at schools that had architecture programs until I realized that industrial design was a thing. And a lot of people don't even know what that is, or like didn't know that it's a major, or don't really know what industrial designers do. And what we do is we design anything that can be mass produced, but it's not how it works necessarily. It's how it looks. So the aesthetics of design. And so it's not designing, how the stapler is going to work. That's what an engineer does, but it's how it looks. So taking aesthetics into effect. And so when we're talking about industrial design and product design, a lot of it is also the branding that goes into the product. And you're having to communicate. Yeah, you're having to communicate what this thing is, how it works. I mean, not necessarily the nitty gritty. We don't need to go into the
mechanical aspects.
It's not really that, but it's like, how is this thing going to help the people who use it? And so, yeah, so I always had to use or think about graphic design, or how I was going to communicate the things that I was designing. And so it made sense that as a career now, I'm really helping people communicate what they need to communicate about themselves, what they do, about their businesses. And so I feel like that's what I love about design. It's like really helping people bring their vision to life and communicate why it's important, why other people need to pay attention to what they're doing, and having that really good visual branding and like setup. It really just amplifies.
It's made such a difference for me. So I haven't even mentioned yet, because in the How to Brand Yourself video, I talked about the process with Isaiah creating the logo, but everything that you see that's branded was all Nikki. So if you look on the Instagram page, you're going to see a very clear difference between when Nikki started working with me on the TruJuLo media Instagram page. You can really see now there's this kind of standard format that I just don't have the ability to do that. So I want to know, Nikki, what was the first thing that you created or drew or kind of creatively represented that said to you, I can do this, like this is something I can do?
Yeah, so I'd say so in my junior year, I had a class that it was a drawing class, but it was implementing like shapes and showing how like you can take like basic forms and turn it into something really interesting. And so basically we had the whole like semester, we were doing a lot of abstract drawings, and we were like, what are we going to do with these? Like, we didn't know. And then eventually we had to like narrow down our favorite shapes and then turn it into a functional product. And so it was really interesting because we were designing a thing before the functionality. A lot of the time you think of, how to, like, what is this going to be? And that's going to inform the shape, but we were doing the opposite. And so then we had to like get a group project and like make a whole line of products. So basically mine was a hydroponic herb garden, and then actually got it 3D printed. So like I drew it,
And
had
wait, you said it, so it was
yeah,
based on a shape. Was it that you
yeah.
got a circle and then,
No, so it was like we could pick like organic shapes or like geometric shapes. And so mine was this random geometric shape that had multiple heights to it. And so I was like,
okay.
these can be vessels and like cutouts. And so I was like, water could be in this. And it was something very sculptural that I was like, okay, so I want people to have this in their home, but like, what is it going to do? And so that's when I was like, each vessel can have a plant in it. And then the like big vessel can have water in it and a pump. And then it just, it can sit in a kitchen. And right now, a lot of things on the market for hydroponics are really industrial looking, and they go with kitchen products, but I wanted to do something more sculptural that like, plants, already plants are an organic thing. Why are they sitting in something that is similar to a microwave or refrigerator,
Wow.
So that is,
Awesome.
yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, it was. So
Very cool.
yeah, and I made it look like a
Yeah.
real product, and so we had to go into the branding in that class as well. So we had to like think of a company name and whole line of products, and
then do you want to talk about some of your other projects that you did at school that, because one of them like propelled you? It was an airline.
yeah. So in school, I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, their main campus in Savannah. And so every quarter we had the opportunity to work with companies that would come in. So it was starting our junior year, and then senior year, and then grad students as well had an opportunity, if you had a certain GPA, to present your portfolio to professors that were actually hired to work with a company that would come in and ask design students to solve a problem, a real life problem. So it was basically like an internship. So this was called the CLC program, the Creative Learning Center. And so it was very intensive. Like people knew like this is going to be your one hard course, but it's actually like it's a job. Like, and you have actual clients who are like flying in to see you. And so that was actually my second CLC. So it was with Delta Airlines, and they were unveiling their new uniforms for all of their employees. So they're, of course, their flight attendants, but also the pilots, everybody working on the like behind the scenes, everybody from check-in to everybody handling the luggage, also the all of their like electricians and everybody like fixing the planes, like everybody had new uniforms, and it was very thought out. Zac Posen, who is an amazing fashion designer, was in charge of designing the uniforms, but then they had to present them to their employees, and they wanted to have a unique fitting experience for all of their employees, because before it was just small, medium, large uniforms. And so now they're having the opportunity to actually get fitted and to have a whole experience. So we were designing that experience for them. So we knew what the uniforms looked like, but this was going to be a traveling show and traveling experience that went to 16 different cities, where all the employees had the opportunity to go and pick out their new uniforms, and they had options. Before it was just you get this vest, or you get this is what you're going to wear, but they had the opportunity to try on, see what fit their body type. That was not a thing that people got to do before. And so we actually got to design all the graphics for the event, all the invitations. I got to design their like email invitation, an actual like stage that was the Delta widget that I designed, and they actually manufactured it, and like they got to bring it to the different events. And then like at the final fitting event, Zac Posen actually, like in their in Delta's headquarters, like he got to present on the stage as well. So it was like, wow,
Oh,
they actually
wow.
made this.
So something that I'm so impressed with that you've done during the pandemic is to figure out how to, make something that was a bit of a side hustle, because here you were, you graduated in industrial design. It's what you still want to do, but there's not a whole lot of work, especially just coming out of college. It's like you have to establish yourself. And I've gotten to watch you turn your graphic design skills and your branding skills that you learned in school into a business. Like you have your own company. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, how you got that going?
Yeah, so I've been doing commissions, kind of as a side hustle throughout college.
Yeah.
And so it's always been something that I've loved to do, because I like seeing people realize like what their businesses could be, and like how it could be communicated to other people, and how their branding like really helps just solidify like what their business is and can do.
Absolutely.
And so I have a lot of clients now. I am working on a lot of branding projects that are for beauty companies, as well as I got into pitch decks for film and television.
Yes.
Which is really awesome, helping directors and producers communicate what their projects are going to be like, because it's a visual medium, so people have to be able to present what their ideas are visually before, so people understand like their importance, and also what it's going to look like. There are pre-existing things that, it's like a chemistry project, you're adding like different things from all over the world, different things that already exist already. I feel like everything that's happening now is a compilation of things we've been influenced by. So
we'll put links to where we can. There's a YouTube channel, Mama Shy YouTube channel. So we'll put a link to that YouTube channel. And Nikki you do all of the branding for that.
I do all her branding, and her packaging as well. I've done a lot of logos for up and coming businesses, and also like
including TruJuLo.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. And we'll just say, we can't necessarily talk about what the projects are, but projects that you've helped make pitch decks for have sold. Like they're actually films or events that are happening. And Nikki's a huge part of making those happen and making them look good.
Yeah. And I feel like that is what people want to see, like, a professional presentation, but also something that doesn't look like everything else, because of course there are a lot of presets that you can buy. There are a lot of, pre-existing templates that you could use, but also it's important that your branding is 100% in what you put out into the world. It's you. So, you don't want to be like everyone else. You want to stand out in your own way.
Talk about Canva, y'all. So we'll just mention, because I've said, if you don't have a lot of money, especially if you're starting your brand or starting off in the business world, it makes complete sense if you need to do things like that. But it's exactly what Nikki's saying, which is ultimately everybody else is using that too. So a lot of it's going to look the same. When you can, and as soon as you can, hire somebody else to do that. Number one, you're giving work to somebody, especially a Black woman. In this case, I'm like, yes, right. But you're giving work to somebody who knows how to do it and is gonna, make it good and help you really make it professional.
With templates too, if you start there, that's a starting point. Do not just add one thing in there and, I changed it, it's mine now. You can make that starting place, totally make it into something else.
Ooh, okay, wait, now that you brought that up, go a little deeper into that. What do you mean?
Yes, I mean, the things that you can see on Canva and Spark or whatever, these platforms, they have all these different elements. Don't just change the verbiage and add your picture. Like, you can change the colors to match your branding exactly. You
Yes.
know,
You
everybody.
are helping me learn that so much.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
I was very discombobulated because I have the things that you've created, the templates you've created, and then I go, I don't want to bother her, or sometimes I don't have the money this time to give. So I go into Canva, and I just started to realize, oh, you've set it for me. So now I know what colors to use. I know the shapes to use. And it's such a good point that at least don't just take the first thing they offer you, right?
Yeah,
Change it up, because that's the creative piece,
exactly.
right?
Go deeper. There's always something that you can do to make it you.
Last quick question, but you can add anything if you want to add anything, but what does the future hold for Nikki Kurtz?
Oh, for me, yeah, I'm starting to work on personal projects because right now, of course, I'm designing for other people. I'm bringing their visions to life, but I need to be putting more of my creations out into the world. I've been a designer for a while, and I want to go back into the art world and like fuse that in, because there's a difference between an artist and a designer. I'm solving problems all day long. An artist doesn't necessarily need to do that. You know, you can bring attention to things, but also it's art, you know, and I want to get back into that creativity because designing can be creatively draining. And, you know, we talk about, you know, the tortured artist all the time. We see it. Yes. So
I love it. Okay. And where can everybody find you and support you?
So my website is NicoleKurtz.com. I should say, yeah, my full name is Nicole Kurtz. And NKK Designs is my art Instagram, which, you know, I said I'm going to focus on myself. So I'm going to be posting more to that.
Ooh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
I love it. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay,
you know
please.
I will. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Fanshin.
Talk to you later.
Bye.